Hello, Rayuya. How are you, ya? I'm posting around the world, while the ads play. Am my sound on? Yeah, my sound's on. I just started talking without checking if my sound was on. You know, as you do. You always say that. I just think I run lower than other channels on Twitch, which I've also run into. That some channels will just be in a lower register. Our ad is over. I should be coming back, but I'm moving slow. Moving slow. Hi. I'm aware that you couldn't see me. We were still in the intro because you got here at the beginning. Hi. Ghetto Beano, Bookwoman, Rayuya. Rayuya, you're first. Congratulations. No one can take that away from you for the rest of the day, unless the stream crashes. Hi. I'm back. We're doing it. We're getting here. You never get here this early. That's right. That is at the beginning of every stream. That thing is up there. It's while I'm putting out my go lives and all that sort of stuff, so that the ad can run while I'm doing that. And then there's a little intro so that people aren't looking at me doing this, because that's what it looks like when I'm. And I do need to post it on the blue ski over here as well. How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome. 15 months. Oh my God. That, you know what that is? You know what that is? That's almost a year. Thank you so much, Maria. For the getting stuff set for the 15th month. Oh my God. Oh my God. You're cooking right along with me, but something different. I assume it's something different because I'm cooking nonsense today. A few things came together, and I'm like, boy, I just need to use all of these and figure out how to use them. So I've got half of a sweet potato that is sprouting. And I did check, unlike regular potatoes, sweet potatoes don't have that stuff that makes them toxic when they. Regular potatoes, the leafy parts are toxic. So if your potato sprouts, you can't eat that. Sweet potatoes do not have that. You can actually just eat the leaves if you want to, but you can also just peel them off and use the rest of it. So we're going to use this. I've also got a regular potato, brand new, no sprouts on that one. I was given. I did not attend this barbecue cookout, but I was given leftovers from it. I have 3 barbecued bratwursts with sauerkraut and no buns. Wee former. Oh my God. Oh my God. Everybody, stay cool. Don't panic. It's Wee former. Wee former's that side. Wii formers here. They're not first. Don't worry, they're not first. Hi, Wii former. Come on in. Welcome. What was I saying? Potato, bratwurst, sauerkraut, and a bunch of tomatoes out of the bargain bin that I put in the fridge, and there actually seems to be working to prevent them from going off real quick. So I don't think I need to actually scramble to use all of them immediately, but they do need to be used. So we're using tomatoes, we're using bratwurst, we're using 2 kinds of potato. We're making the thing. I'm doing something, the idea that I came up with is I'm doing something I did once before when I made pizza curry as a inversion of curry pizza, because everyone's heard of curry pizza. It's a pizza with curry stuff on the top. Curry spices, usually bits of chicken, because that's a popular sort of meat to use in that space. And I did it backwards, and instead of taking curry ingredients and making them in the shape of a pizza, I took pizza ingredients and made them in the form of a curry. And I want to do that now. I want to take non-curry ingredients, but cook them like a curry. So, bratwurst, sweet potato, cabbage, sauerkraut, caraway. I've got the spices. I had to pick up caraway because I didn't have any caraway. But caraway, fennel, horseradish, mustard, like that flavor profile, the Germanic flavor profile, but crafted in the shape of a curry. As a reversal of currywurst, which is curried bratwurst. It tastes like curry. They're using the flavors of curry. So that's the idea. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what this is going to taste like. We're throwing a bunch of spices in sort of... It's going to be a stew. But it sounds fancier to say it this way. Yeah, that's the plan. My voice just cracked. Why did my voice crack? I don't know. Also, my fridge has been buzzing again, so if that happens and it bugs you, yell at me and I'll try to do something about it. If it doesn't bug you, then don't say anything, and it'll be fine. Yeah, so that's the plan. I don't know why I walked over and looked at that. There's some dishes in my sink. That's what I walked over there and did. I walked over and looked at the dishes in my sink with disgust, and then walked back to you and smiled. Let's see. We need to step 1, the potatoes. So I'm going to slide us over yonder with our potatoes. Blemish. Oh my God. I suppose I missed last week. I was just kind of tired last week. I had a trip and I was sick during the trip, and also I had to work either end of the trip. So I just had this solid block and it just kind of tuckered me out. That was last week. Sorry about that. But I suppose last week would have been the renewal for a bunch of you guys. So delayed renewals. That's what's happening right now. Flemish, 13 months. You know what that means. You know what that means. That's almost a year. We'll get there. We'll get there. Curious how the sauerkraut will come into play. Me too. It came in the bag with the bratwursts, so there it is. So we're going to use it somehow. It's going to get used. It's going to get figured out. Where's my... use the big board. Use the big board. This is half of the sweet potato. Sweet potato was this big. It was like the size of a forearm or an upper arm. It was enormous. It was just too much. Not that knife. We're going to use the big chef knife. That'll be fine. I did use the other half. The surface got kind of dried out, so we're just going to cut that away. It looks perfectly fine on the inside. We lose a little bit of the outer surface there. That's fine. There's plenty to go around. Juice it. I don't know that it's very juicy anymore because it's in the bag with the sausages, and there's not a lot of liquid in that bag, so that might not work. So anyways, that's our plan today. It's nonsense. It's pretty much I looked around, saw some leftovers, saw some ingredients that need to get used up, and we're just essentially smashing them together until they become food. When we did this with the pizza ingredients, it was a huge success. It tasted fantastic. I should go back and write that one down and do that as a formalized recipe because, boy, that one tasted fantastic. It was a bit acidic on account of all the tomatoes that were in it, but it tasted fantastic. It just gave me heartburn. So what's everybody been up to this week, last week, week before? How's it going? How's things? I don't want to talk about the news because it's really depressing all the time. Okay, our 2 taters, and then we will just scrape off our skins. We need a cookbook of the best recipes. I do need to compile the winners into a book. Here's something that I never thought about, but it is a thing that internet chefs have to think about when they become successful. I'm not at that level yet, so I don't have to think about it. When you do write a cookbook and go to a publisher to get it published, the publisher will say, okay, but don't put any of the recipes from your show in there. We want new stuff. Because they want something that can only be had in the book. I go for about that size of slabs here. So what I really need to do is do like a recipe wiki. I need a pot as well. I'm also not very good at writing recipes. So we're making what is essentially potato salad here, using the white potato and the sweet potato. And that's going to be our starchy element for our curry instead of doing it with a rice base. When we did it with the pizza, we used pizza dough to make a naan, which was really good. Again, instead of using rice. So same concept here. We're using a more appropriate starch. Not that they don't have rice in Germany, but Flemish has tried the Yellowbird Sriracha. It is really good. It's when I did the taste test, and the thing that set it apart was that it was not just trying to replicate Hoi Fong Sriracha. And all the really good ones, all the ones that were in the upper tiers, were not trying to replicate Hoi Fong Sriracha. They were doing their own thing, and that is what made them work. Interesting. Sweet potato floats, regular potato sinks. Do you see bratwurst today? Yes, I was given leftovers from someone else's weekend barbecue. There they are, and I'm going to use them. Hi, Glacier. You're not first. Congratulations. Whew, boy, speaking of not first, I have a thirst. And that came into my head because they rhyme. Ooh, so, I'm going to head you all off and have a moisten on my own time, unless one of you wants to take credit. How am I thirsty? Ooh. Thank you, Flemish. I shall give you a proper moistening. Okay, we're going to boil those potatoes until they're nice and tender. And then we're going to use those. We're going to make a vinegared spiced potatoes, or vinegar herbed potato salad. And then it's going to be sort of a sour element, sour starchy element, to go with our primary savory thing. That's the idea. That's the idea. I do like a German potato salad. Part 2. Get out a bowl of holding things. Boy, I feel really hyped up today for some reason. We're going to have a fun one, just being weird today. Where are those mustards? Mustard, where are you? This one. This one. This one. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Oh, and I want to show you something. I got a thing. I found a thing. It was, yes, you guessed it, at a thrift store. It's meant to be a coffee grinder. But I tested it out with black pepper. And it grinds black pepper just fine. It's a burr grinder with a crank handle. And it makes ground spices in large quantities quite fast. For grinding coffee, I bet you it would have been yeah, it would take too long to make any reasonable amount of coffee. But for grinding a small quantity of spices, it's just perfect. Uh, so, some black pepper, which I'm going to actually use later. So, let's save that. Ooh, look at how much it ground in such a short time. It grinds. It gives me a coarse ground spice way faster than this thing. This thing is great for seasoning. If I just want a pile, if you just want a pile of spices. So yeah, as a coffee grinder, I feel like it would underperform because you'd have a hard time using it to make enough coffee for more than like 1 cup at a time. But for spices, I think it's great. And it's got an adjustable grind as well. So it's everything about this is ideal for just grinding random spices. I also have a mortar and pestle. I find especially black pepper, but also coriander, the really round spices, want to jump out when you're grinding them in there, and it's really annoying. But yes, I do use that. I use that probably more often than the electric grinder, if I'm honest. Because I don't like the noise of the electric grinder. Anyways, mustard. Let's throw in a lot of it. About half that of fennel. And the brand new, never been opened, don't like these little containers, but I couldn't find caraway. Okay, I could find caraway in a different brand with a different container, but it was like 5 times more expensive, and I'm not about that. But I hate these little punch out ones. What I need is a tool that I have. Crab fork. I'll just fold it under. Crab fork. And then about that much caraway. So, it's about 2 parts mustard to 1 part caraway to 1 part fennel. That's going to be my spice base. Fruit flies are back. Do we want to put anything else in the spices? We could throw a little bit of coriander. They do use actual curry in Germany, hence Currywurst. So it wouldn't be wildly out of place. I think I might have used a little bit too much black pepper, but we're not putting any chili peppers in this. There's no other hot element unless I throw in some horseradish, aside from the mustard. And there's quite a bit of mustard in there, but we're going to toast the mustard. These things, this is the Tones lids. All their spices come in this exact lid, regardless of what the things are. As opposed to, well, it's the same problem with this other brand. So I can find one they're all the same. These guys, they come in one side with 3 little holes, one side with a half moon. But some of the things that come in here are literally bigger than the holes on the three little holes side. So it's just a worthless... in fact, this is one of them. This was cloves. You can only get the broken ones out through those three little holes. I'm not using cloves today. My cinnamon sticks have a shaker on the lid. Jar of cinnamon sticks. Yeah, I'm really going to shake those out through those little holes, huh? And the other side's got a spoon on it for, you know, spooning your cinnamon sticks. Bizarre. It'd be cheaper for them to just use a blank lid. They wouldn't have to mold. It probably wouldn't be because they're already molding the lids. And they've got a stock of that kind of lid, but, you know. You know. Yeah, no. Let's see. I want a big enough pan that I can work with it. The spices are so goofy. We're going to slide over here. We're going to take our dry spices, put them in our dry pan, and we're going to turn on our dry hotness and toast them up a little bit. This is a process you would do for making curries. Do we want coriander? What do you guys think? Yay, nay on coriander? We're going to not do anything else actual cooking-wise while these are toasting because spices, little seeds like this burn very quickly and very easily, and we don't want that to happen. Flemish says yes on the coriander. That's one vote for coriander. It's 2 votes for coriander. Coriander seed, by the way, seed, not the leaf. Should have mentioned that. Just the seed. Okay, I'm gonna add about a half of those as well. Get them toasting up. Our potatoes are bubbling away back there. Set my black pepper aside. Let's see, onion, celery. I've got tomatoes and bell peppers. I've got a whole bunch of Thai basil as well. I don't know if that's going to fit into this recipe, even a little bit, but we do have a bunch of Thai basil. One of my friends was growing Thai basil in his garden and said, hey, you want some? And gave me a bunch, which immediately wilted, of course. And I put it in a glass of water and it did not come back. So it's all wilty, but so what we're doing here is toasting your spices. So the flavor compounds in these dry seeds are volatiles and oils. So by heating them, we kind of wake up those spices. Basil sounds faulty. If you do this with black pepper, they'll actually pop like popcorn, except they won't make little poofs. They'll just kind of burst because there's no corn inside. But the skins will swell up and then burst just like popcorn does. The coriander might do that. Most of the seeds don't want to do that. But what we're keeping an eye out for is browning and any kind of Any blackening at all is a bad sign. We're watching it for that slight browning to happen, and we're also smelling constantly. We don't want this to burn. Oh. I think we're fragrant. I can smell the fennel. I can smell specifically the fennel, so I'm going to say that we are fragrant enough to take it out of there. What did I grind in this last? Salt and cumin? Or salt and salt. It just tastes like salt. Ooh, yep, and we actually are at the level where they're starting to toast a little bit, so. Here's my mortar and pestle. And we will use that pan later, so I'm just going to leave that out. These should be nice and, yep, nice and hot and fragrant. They're not super fragrant, but again, I'm afraid of burning them, so I'm erring on the side of caution in terms of fragrance. When you get practiced toasting your spices, you can get them to be like beautifully fragrant just a split second before they burn, and then take them out of the pan real quick, and then they stop. You tried buying stainless pans at the thrift store and you keep getting bought out. Yep, I've noticed that usually when I see them, there's one good one at a time. I'm sure that they show up more than one, but there's one good one at a time and they disappear. So yes, they go very quick. Okay. Hold on to those dry spices. Part 2. Bacon. What? Bacon? Yes. You heard me. Bacon. Something that no internet chef has ever used before. Where did I go on a trip last week? I went, so I live in Wisconsin. I live on one side of the state. My parents live on the opposite side of the state. I drove home to my parents' house for the weekend, or for Thursday to Saturday, and then came back. And I had to move my work schedule around to accommodate it as well. So no big secret, but that's where I was. And then I had to work on either side of it, and also I was sick. I got sick on Tuesday, and the sickness lasted to Friday. So there was, it was a whole thing. So it wasn't a big exciting like vacation-y trip. It was just a little outing for a couple days. I shouldn't cut bacon on the wood board. I should cut bacon on the nylon board. Now, if I go anywhere interesting, I'll be sure to tell you guys about it. Not that my parents' place isn't interesting. Hello. I want to say Illinois. I know one of you is from Illinois. I lose track. Or is that a that 70s show reference? that's much faster. Pull, don't push. Pull. You're from Quebec. Well, hello, Quebec. Lemon spaghetti with roast artichoke hearts. Like, I'm familiar with a lemon cream pasta without artichokes. Is it similar to that? Sounds intriguing. I do like artichoke pasta. That is something. For a little while there, I was buying canned brined artichokes just so that I could crack it open, throw it with some pasta, and serve that as a thing. I might even have one left up here. I'd have to root around. Lemon juice and lots of zest. No cream. Bacon on just the low side of medium. We want to render out that fat. No cream, lots of parmesan. Interesting. I don't think I've had anything quite exactly what that is. So let me know how it goes. We're starting some bacon. We're going to render some fat out of our bacon. This bacon is not the best bacon I've ever seen in the world. Good olive oil takes the top. Good olive oil for Bookwoman's thing. Yes, I agree. Some olive oil. If this isn't enough fat, I'm going to give it a little bit of lard to bulk it out. But we'll see how much I actually get out of these bacons. I don't want to overwhelm it with bacon flavor, so I've only used two strips, two rashers. Lemon caper chicken. If you have better bacon, use it. This was Oscar Mayer bacon that I got out of the bargain bin at some point, froze, and now we're using it. And I'm pretty sure this was the one where they wasted so much packaging. They put the already packaged bacons inside the styrofoam trays. They stacked up 3 of them and then shrink wrapped that together. So it was package inside of package. But then it was like $6 for 3 pounds of bacon. And I just froze it. Center cut is what part of the belly section it is. So center cuts are very even, and they're good for making like nice, perfect strips when you cook your rasher of bacon. They're very picturesque. If we come over here, they're the same thickness on that end as they are on that end, and they're very straight. I mean, there's always a little bit of a wobble to them because it was a pig at one point. As opposed to, I don't know if I have another one that I can pull out that'll still be frozen. That one's beef bacon. Don't think I have another one right now. I have this. This isn't bacon, but you can see how this stuff is not perfectly even. The center cutting is about the evenness of the slices. That was just pork, not baconed, not cured into a bacon. What I find when I use Oscar Mayer bacon and why I call it subpar is their curing process definitely uses more sugar than I would prefer. This causes the, you can see here in the pan, it encourages the brown fond to form very quickly and then runs a risk of burning said fond. Ideally, for this kind of use case, the kind of bacon you would use would be like the gnarly bits, the chunks, which you can buy. They usually call them ends and pieces, or sometimes they just call them chunks, where it's the trimmings when they wanted to make their nice straight rashers. They have to trim the slab, and they end up with little bits that come off the sides. And then rather than try to make anything out of those, they either grind them up and make bits out of them, or, especially if they're the fattier ones, they just shrink wrap up and sell them as chunks or ends. And because they typically are fattier, they're great for something like this, where all I really want is to render out some bacon fat to get the pan started. Especially since they don't use... yes, except Canadian bacon and back bacon, and they don't call it back bacon in Canada. Or they don't always call it back bacon in Canada. Bino can probably clue us in. I believe in Canada it's often called pea meal bacon, and that's what Americans call Canadian bacon. And then it's called back bacon in Europe. I think that's how it works. I know that pea meal bacon and Canadian bacon are the same thing. If Jay was here, he would know. He's our timeless expert on all things Canada. Yes, there you go. Ghetto knows. That stuff is what we call Canadian bacon. And I don't know why we call it Canadian bacon. It's also not from Canada originally. It's from Europe, like most bacons. Streaky bacon, which is what American bacon is also from Europe. That stuff's looking pretty good. I'm going to leave it in there because we're going to build on top of it. We should test our potatoes for tenderness as well, especially the big orange ones. I'm gonna bring you guys over there because I'm gonna bring something over to you. One of these. I turned the bacon. I'm gonna turn the bacon off. Actually, I'm gonna slide it off the burner because I don't want to burn it. It looks pretty well done. Yep, and a bag of milk. Canadians putting milk in the least sane container. Well, it cut really evenly and easily, and it's tender right to the middle. So I think those taters are done. Boy. I don't know the full history of your pea meal bacons. I know that bacon has been largely considered to be the cut in modern days, but historically it was the process, which is why there are a bunch of cuts now in different parts of the world that are called bacon, because it's the curing process that makes it bacon, not the part of the pig that it's cut from. And why you can make bacon out of things that aren't pig, like turkey bacon and beef bacon. And salmon bacon, that's one I've seen. That one sounds interesting. Haven't tried it. Okay, the potatoes are out. We're gonna let them steam off and cool off a little bit. And I guess we're gonna start cutting vegetables. That was the biggest chunk of potatoes. I'm gonna assume that means that they're all done. The bratwursts are already cooked, so I shouldn't need to cook them much more. This is my last red onion too. I like using red onion here because red onion is a topping that I am familiar with going on a bratwurst in the bun. I have not had Kobe beef. I've had American Wagyu, and then I learned about American Wagyu after that, and then I realized how much of a waste it was. But see that phrasing, the bacon of beef? No, it's in the sense that bacon is the fatty, rich part, but in a more literal sense, you can make beef bacon out of any part of the beef. Ah, my eyes. Oh, this is a strong one. Oh, this onion is fighting back. Oh, this onion didn't want to get cut in half today. Oh, and its paper is holding on really tight, so I'm also getting gassed while... Yikes. My eyes. Oh, it hurts. Oh my God, it hurts. Why is this onion also the one that has the paper that won't freaking come off? Oh my God. Oh my God, onion, stop it. Freaking, ow. Ow, that's a strong onion. Oh, jeez. My face meats. Ouch. Oh. It's probably because it's probably because when I peeled it, I tore part of it. That will have freed up a lot more of those sulfur compounds than a nice clean cut would. So that's probably on me. Oh, it's also really leaking juice. That's also probably a big factor. It's a really juicy one. Oh, God. Anyways, we're giving it a chop into sort of big chunky bits. Oh my God, that was a strong onion. Wow, I'm throwing it in with our bacon. Which I remind you is off the heat, so it's just kind of warm in there now. Let's see. I want to throw in some cabbage. Ooh, and some carrot. Ooh, and some beet. No, we've already got potato. Carrot. Carrot's a good. Maybe I should. I'm changing my mind. Good thing I had the heat off. I am retrieving the onion, which hasn't even warmed up, so it's just cold onion in the pan with some grease on it. Because I want the carrot to go in first and get a little bit of a head start. Of course, I drop one of the onion pieces into the burner, the one that's off, but still I need to now get underneath there. You guys are not even looking at this. Here, watch me awkwardly with my fingers pull pieces of onion out of this pan. It's just hot enough that it like ouches my fingertips, but not enough to burn me. Ugh, that one's fine. One of them fell in this one. I gotta get that out of there because we're gonna use that burner and it's gonna burn. You know, it's gonna do that thing that it's named for. Yeah, carrots are a little bit sturdier and thus that one has gone gross because there's little carbonized bits down there. So we're not even going to bother trying to clean those off. They're just going to go right in the trash. Carrot is sturdier and needs a little bit of a head start. So back on this side. Where's my peeler? And my knife. Do I want to peel this? Yes. What's everybody else having for dinner tonight? I didn't ask earlier. I got voluntold by a bookwoman about the artichoke lemon stuff. That sounds good. I also saw that. I don't think it's worth fishing it out. Some of it will just overcook a little bit. Thank you, though. Chicken rice soup with a homemade broth. We don't want big chunks. We want a nice sort of slice for our carrot. To differentiate it from the potatoes, which are nice, big, chunky cubes. Then we are going to slide back. Yeah, I noticed that one little bit in there too. I am going to leave it because it's the wrong way around to get a grip on. It's covered in bacon fat already, and I just don't care. Wheat Former's having pottery for dinner. That doesn't sound very tasty. Not gonna lie. Sounds kind of crunchy. You're gonna order Indian food and eat shortly. Okay, good, because that's food. Indian food is food. Pottery, not food. Flemish is having sushi and Sapporo Ichiban. I assume it's Sapporo Ichiban, because that's the Sapporo I'm familiar with, but maybe it's a different Sapporo. I made an assumption. And you know what that does? It makes an ass out of umption. The outer leaf on my cabbage didn't look very good. I'm going to just peel that one away and use inner parts of the cabbage. It's an ass out of Ming. You saw that one too. I got that reference. That one's very recent. We former our resident internet expert, internet cartoon expert. Well, the thing is, I don't actually follow them. I don't actually follow that channel on YouTube, so I won't get a notification ever. It just has to show up in recommended videos, which it usually does, but doesn't always do it right away. Okay, get the carrots going with the bacon. Hi, Sizan. Welcome to the nonsense. That's it there. That's the nonsense. Look at it. Be amazed. Ooh, nonsense. I'm really thirsty today, too. I'm really like hyped up. I guess taking a week off was exactly what I needed because I'm all hyped up. Chef, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Chef, I've forgotten your name, your real name, your channel's name. Because if I do Chef de Party, it won't work. Your name is Room and Board. Gotcha. Our friend, Chef, the other chef. How's it going? What's cooking? I suppose you're gearing up for your own Monday cook right now. Onions, go back in the pan. Cabbage in the pan. A generous pinch of salt. He saw a Cheez-It on Discord dipped in peanut butter and mini chocolate chips and had to come here. Oh, I have a reputation, do I? What are you trying to say? Wait. Did I miss a thing? Did I miss a thing in my Discord? Oh my God. Homemade Butterfinger. Peanut butter between two Cheez-Its dipped in chocolate. Tastes alarmingly similar to Butterfinger. Okay, I did miss that. That was short. That was a minute before I went live, so I wasn't paying attention to the Discord at that point. So that'll be why I didn't see that. I was prepping the world here for this nonsense. Okay, we're going to cook these guys out until the cabbage is largely wilted down. That's the plan. Staniel. I did use the middle bit of the cabbage, the core bit, so there will be some chunky chunks in there. But the salt should help us tenderize that out. While that's going, we're going to slide back over here. We're going to look at our new spice grinder. There's a little bit of black pepper left in there. That'll be fine. I'm going to take all of our toasty spices, throw them in there. There they go. Nope, some of them stuck. As a reminder, this is mustard, fennel, caraway, and I was talked into adding some coriander. Lotus wings, thank you. I got this at a thrift store. I actually got both of them at a thrift store. I've got a miniature one too, which is currently over there on the dish thing. It's like that big. And that one is the one that we damaged by letting it get wet. This one we have managed to preserve. Also, it has little feet, so it's harder to accidentally put it down in a puddle. So what happened with the first one, I set it down, and the edge was in a little bit of a puddle right on the edge of my sink, and it swelled up some of the... So it turns out this wood is beech, and it swells quite badly when it gets wet. So it went pop, 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 right along the edge of the other one. When it dried out, it all sort of shrank back in, but there are definitely little cracks in there now, so. You love how I say miniature. Now I'm self-conscious about how I say that word. This thing is also new from the thrift store. It just powered through all those spices in no time flat. There you go. Coarsely ground spices. Quite a lot of them, in fact. Oh, and we're burning. We're burning at the bottom. We are burning at the bottom, so we have to add liquid to this right now. It is just flavor, but if you let it go completely black, the flavor that it becomes is acrid. So, that's okay. We're going to add liquid to this at some point eventually, but you can save it as long as you catch it right away and pick it up into your liquid. If it goes actually like black, and then when you scrape it off, it turns into little black flecks, that's just going to give you an acrid flavor. But if it's just dark brown, it'll dissolve and form a dark brown liquid just like that, which is the flavor that you've now rescued from burning at the bottom and put into the rest of it. we have deglazed. Now, ideally, I would have done that with a beer, because we're going for German flavors. But I just reached for my glass of water and threw it in there, because that's what the first thing that I saw. And also, I don't have a beer ready or available to do that with. You want to deglaze with alcohol because the alcohol boils off much faster. Do I have anything Germanic that I could throw in to sort of amplify the flavors? I have a very large can of brown ale. I have Malort. Probably a bad idea. Right? Right? No, that's definitely a bad idea. I'm talking myself out of that one immediately. That's definitely a bad idea. Mustard. There's mustard in there. Mustard was one of our dry spices that I put in there. Mustard seed. It was in my toasted spice mix. Our spices are heavily Germanic today. That's the goal. Oh, and it's fragrant, guys. Ooh wee. The anise is coming through very strongly on the nose. This is going to be interesting. Anise and caraway both kind of have that. Ghetto Bean also says no Malort. We're having a bunch of people say no Malort, not Malort. But what if Malort? But what if, hear me out, Malort? It just tastes like gasoline. Bay leaf. I want to know what I'm going to throw in there before I get to the part where I need to throw it in there. If we use a little Malort as a treat. A little Malort is not a treat. We're not putting the Malort in there. I think it may have burned also because we had slightly less fat than I think it wanted, which we could fix with just a dollop of butter. Don't bonk. No bonk. No, don't bonk. Also, you can't get here fast enough to stop me. Throwing some butter in. That'll help lubricate the pan when it gets down to that point. We'll have the heat down a bit as well. That should help inhibit any more burning. Again, they put extra sugar in the cure for Oscar Mayer bacon. So in my experience, Oscar Mayer bacon always wants to do that. And then when we added the onions, there was even more sugar from that onion juice coming in the bottom. So I'm sure that's what happened there. This is going to need a lot more liquid, and I think I've got a lot of tomatoes. Tomatoes are not very German. Do I throw some tomatoes in there? We got to throw the bratwurst in there too. We're probably bulking this thing out too much. Malort is a liquid. We're probably bulking this out a little bit too much. I think I'm going to not throw the tomatoes in because I don't want to make this too huge. I'm falling into that trap. I'm falling into that trap of the pan is this big, so I am compulsively filling it, and I should not do that. I could toss in some ghee. I have some ghee. I got lucky on ghee. This. I got one of those lucky finds. $5 jar of ghee, used by years from now. Plus, it's one of those fats that, unless I open it, it won't even start to oxidize. It won't go off at all until the seal's broken, because it's just too purified in there. That one was a lucky find. I got 2 jars of that. That was a steal. It was. That was absolutely a steal. This ghee is usually quite expensive. I only ever find it in the organic section, and it's quite expensive. So I typically avoid it. I also got some jars of coconut oil. I also got these giant jars of coconut oil. So I'm set for cooking fats for a long time now. Ghee would have been good here, actually. If we hadn't used the bacon, that would have been a great starting fat. Ghee is excellent for things like this because it has been clarified so it doesn't burn the way butter does. Okay, I am cooking off our water content as I chit-chat. The sausages have to go in there. We're gonna switch boards again. Good idea to have 2 boards. Clarified does not mean that it won't burn. Clarified means that it has been, in a literal sense, made clear. For butter, what that specifically means is that the proteins and the sugars have all been taken out, and the only thing that's left is the fat. So the fat has been clarified, and pure butter fat has a very high smoke point compared to butter, because in butter it's the proteins and the sugars that burn. Which also means that ghee, properly made ghee, is also not, it has no lactose in it. It's clean because it's only the fat. I'm not sure about that Flemish. Citation needed. The proteins and fat make butter taste like butter, which is tasty, but I also think ghee is tasty. It's just different. Anyways, I was about to say, good idea to have multiple cutting boards. A board for meats and a board for non-meats. Especially since you really don't want to be cutting meats on a wooden board or anything porous. Now for cooked meats, like the bratwurst, not a big deal. For raw stuff, you really don't want to cut it on a wooden board because the juices can soak in. And then those soaked in juices can be a bacteria breeding ground. So if you do use a wooden board, be sure to wash it very thoroughly right away. And then your cutting board becomes too delicious, and then you would be compelled to eat it. Yes. The smaller knife is sharper, and we'll go through the bratwurst skin faster. I believe this bratwurst, I don't know exactly for sure, but I believe this bratwurst was done in the traditional Wisconsin style. So, boiled in beer before being grilled. But again, I wasn't there. This was gifted upon me, and I'm only bisecting one of them. I want two differently shaped types of bratwurst pieces in my finished thing. I want the hefts, and I want the rounds. And I think two of these is going to be enough, so I'm not even going to cut the third one. Oop. Don't cut your fingers either. You really can taste the boiled in beer part. It imparts, usually it's a cheap lager. But you really can. It's not super strong, but it gives you that yeasty and hoppy flavor, like just like a perfuming of it. It's nice. It is. Don't use a fancy beer. Don't use anything expensive for it because it's not a huge effect, and you definitely don't get the beer back at the end. But it's not nothing. It's not nothing. It's an excellent use for some cheap beer, and oftentimes when you're grilling, you have a big case of something that you're drinking while you're out having the grill out. And I've also seen it as little as you got a pot of boiling water to boil your brats in, and you put in 1 can of beer just to perfume it lightly. Anyways, our Bratwurst is in there. I think I turned my heat down a little bit too far. In order to make this curried, we're going to need to add liquid back to it, though. It's looking pretty good, honestly. It looks mighty tasty. Also, those bay leaves aren't going to do much unless I can get them immersed in something to impart some. When you do beer can chicken, well, the beer can chicken, as far as I'm aware, the can is the most important part there because it helps hold the thing upright and provides steam to the inside. Lotus, I'm with you. I don't know what they taste like. I put them in things. And I don't taste them. And also, I've got a container of them here, and when I open the container, it smells like almost nothing. So, it doesn't, not in a literal sense, but perhaps we should do side-by-sides with bay leaves and see if they actually do anything. Anyways, I'm adding just water up to the immersion level on this pan, which was about 3.5 cups. Looks like was enough to drown all that stuff. Umami leaf. I'm sure that they are very pungent when you get them fresh. Bay laurel, there's a reason they've been grown for so long. The little laurel crowns that your Roman emperors wear, that was this stuff. That was this stuff. Fun fact. Controversial decision. I'm going to throw one of these in there. One of these. Vinegar and bay leaves when you had roaches. Doesn't work. Well, on roaches. That was a pork stock cube, which I can only ever find at the Asian grocery. So that this isn't just a bunch of water. We might add something to thicken it. I'm not adding coconut to this. I'm not adding coconut milk to this, so that's not going to be a thickener. It might, there's no roux here. We didn't build a roux in the bottom of this thing. And that might have been a mistake. I could build a roux in a separate pan and pour it in there if I need to. That's going to simmer covered while we do other things. Sliding back over, moving our knives. Because we got to deal with these potatoes. These taters. Precious. Something like that. Move this guy. The orange ones have gone a little bit gray as they've been sitting there, but not too bad. I think that traditional use of bay used only fresh bay leaves picked from the tree, which would mean that the oils and such were quite strong, quite fresh. And the dried ones have lost a lot of that, because I imagine when you make a laurel wreath out of fresh laurel, it smells quite strong. I accidentally used a can of coconut cream instead of coconut milk once, and it was eye-opening. Please elaborate, Flemish. Also, I believe I've done that too. I haven't tasted that. What am I looking for? We're going to pull up a reference recipe I've got on the side here for authentic German potato salad, which we are not adding the bacon to. We need parsley, and I'm going to add chives. So I'm not following the recipe. I've taken out 2 of the ingredients. I've taken out 2 of the 5 ingredients and added another different ingredient that it does not call for. Potato, vinegar, sugar, salt, black pepper, parsley. 6 ingredients. And I'm taking out the bacon and the onion and putting in the... So I got the sugar too, because we got sweet potato. We don't need the sugar. And then yeah, okay. Calorically speaking. Well, it turns out things with more calories in them are usually more delicious. That is like a thing. Calories taste good. Funny and depressing. Okay, our potatoes go in here. The big one. There was, and this didn't last long, and you might not be old enough to remember it, or you might not have encountered it in the just like couple of years that it existed. There was a fry oil, a frying oil, not a French fry oil, but a frying oil that was invented that was 0 calories. And it was immediately used by the potato chip companies to make potato chips. And it worked perfectly. And you could taste, it tasted like greasy fried potato chips. without any of the calories from the grease. It worked 100% perfectly. And they didn't think about the fact that the reason that it had no calories was because it was indigestible. So the oil had calories in it. You just couldn't extract them, so functionally it had no calories. But it turns out if you eat a bunch of indigestible oil, you don't digest it. It stays as oil all the way through your system, and you have horrific oily diarrhea. Yes, right? Yeah, that is exactly what it is. It worked perfectly, but they missed the part where it was going to absolutely explode people's butts. So understandably, the public did not take well to these, and they didn't last long. Some salt. Some. No, we're gonna use white vinegar. Some. White vinegar. Comes in the giant gallon jugs. Some fresh I need my the kitchen scissors. They're dirty. I'm gonna grab a different scissors and then call it the kitchen scissors, and you guys will never know the difference. Oh, hey guys, I found the kitchen scissors. Gonna add parsley and chive from the garden. Out here. Parsley's going crazy. Parsley just goes nuts. Spider webs on my parsley. Okay, we'll have to wash the parsley. Parsley. Chive. Plenty. The word plenty was said in relation to something. Oh. I think I had them bunched too tightly while I was rinsing. The bits I wanted to rinse away didn't rinse away. I'm not using the rosemary or the thyme. And also we're adding chives and not sage. We could add sage. I've got sage. Remember me to one who lives there. I don't know what that means. Okay. Parsley, parsley. Chive, chive. Oh, some of these chives have brown tips as well. Not that the brown tips will hurt. They just don't look very nice. We're garden fresh on this stuff, so we're gonna pick through it and make sure I've got any bits that I don't want off of it. Should you call 911? About what? I missed something? I walked away for a sec. Okay. Reach for the knife behind the thing. Make sure there's no bug. Cost of being organic. It's not even organic. I used a chemical fertilizer because it wasn't growing very well, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll throw some Miracle Grow on it. It's just that it's outside. I'm herbing it very heavily. I'm gonna also, we talked about stuff soaking in. Gonna use some napkins to make sure that this puddle doesn't become an issue. Yeah, if you got fresh herbs outside, give them a quick look over before you use them and a rinse. We're also just gonna bunch this guy up real tight here and yeah, I'm using the stems. Just gonna get through the whole wad. So that it doesn't spring about. If you have a mezzaluna, this is a great use for it. And wouldn't you know, I actually have a mezzaluna. It's just that it's not sharp enough for this. There we go. Nice, very sort of rustic. We'll call it rustic. I was aware of that you eat fruit fly larvae pretty frequently. You also eat fungus gnat larvae in mushrooms pretty frequently. They're just so everywhere. But they're completely harmless, and they're also so tiny you can't even see them. Don't do the thing I just did. Do not scrape your board with the blade of your knife. It is a terrible thing for both the board and the knife. Do as I say, not as I do. Etc. Let's see, I put this in the double bowl because I was planning to do this with it and just go like that. Instant potato salad. Mushrooms are awesome. Oh, let me look at the longer version of the. Farm. Yeah, no. My herb garden is right out. You can't see it. There's a door right there. It's directly behind this camera. There's a door right there. It goes right outside, and there's a little herb corner, and I'm growing herbs out there. I've got shiso, basil, chives, scallions, parsley, Cuban oregano, sage, and a money tree. Yeah, I did go cut herbs. I'm back. The herbs were cut and have already been added to the thing here. I herbed quite heavily. Hold on, my phone is ringing. Sorry about that. Unless I'm frozen for anyone else. Okay. Add a little bit of salt. Add a little bit of our pepper that we have too much of. Okay, that part is done. I probably should taste that. Probably should give that a taste. See what we think. vinegary, herby, potatoey, kind of blank slatey. We could add a little bit of mustard, but I like it. But I like it. Add a little bit of pepper. I think that's good. That's going to be our starchy component for our other thing over there, which we'll just go check on it. It's been bruddling away under the lid where we can't see it. So the big reveal. I mean, it changed while we weren't looking at it. I definitely want to thicken it. It's too much of a soup right now. Might want to evaporate it. We're gonna cook it down a little bit. I'm also going to taste it. We are going to, let's see, I've been missing your conversation because I've been so excited. What did I miss? Fruit fly, blah, 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 blah. Deer hunted on Woods property. Fed us 4 different mushrooms. Never got the deer. Lookalikes, blah, blah, burr, burr. You can learn from, yeah. Let's give the broth here a taste, see what we're working with. Ooh, woo. Ooh, that's... I mean, it doesn't taste like curry, because of course it doesn't, because we didn't put any curry spices in it, but it's got a richness, it's got a depth. Ooh, it's got a thing, it's something going on. It's not very mustardy. We could actually add a little bit of mustard to it, like prepared mustard. I've even got a German mustard. It's not, for as much mustard seed as I put in there, there's not a ton of mustard flavor. I am going to give it a little, thing, but I don't want to take it too far away. At the moment, it's sort of a rich, savory broth. So we're going to give it a, it's $1 Dusseldorf. Well, it ended up being positive, but it was initially confused because it wasn't what I was expecting. So my initial was kind of ambiguous because I was still deciding as I reacted to it. It is definitely too soupy to serve in the way that I want to serve it. You could, however, just take a scoop of this stuff and serve it like a soup. Well, that mustard made little weird lumps that float around in our thing. I think I want to thicken it up. Small pot. Okay, I'm gonna the lumps will make friends once it dries up. That's such a cute way of phrasing that. Here, I'll do this the most awkward way, right in front of you guys, but where I can hardly see it. My little knife, little knife, little knife. Okay, little pat of butter, and then we retrieve the flour tower. The tower of flour. We're going to make a quick roux in the back there, and then add it to our soup. That will give us something for the soup to grab onto and help it thicken without having to just boil it completely away. Because I don't really want to sit here and stare at it boiling for an hour. It'd be a good soup right now. We're also going to add some of our pre-ground black pepper to it. And then we've still got sauerkraut and the secret final ingredient that I have not mentioned up to this point, and you guys are going to probably go, what? Ugh, why? When I do it. So, so you know, prepare yourself for that. Oh, the horseradish. I was going to add a little bit of horseradish to it. Horseradish is not the secret final ingredient. But I was going to add a little dollop of horseradish as well. And figure out some way to use the sauerkraut. Watch our butter melt back there. Make sure we're not going too far with that. Ooh, it already smells different. That horseradish made a difference. Enough of a difference that my voice goes down a register when I say it. Oh, ooh, ah. We should think about plating options as well. I kind of want to do this in the Japanese curry style as a side-by-side, which does restrict us to probably the white dish pans. Kraut in the potato salad. The potato salad's already a sour component. I was kind of thinking I would just take a dollop of the kraut and put it on the top at the end. That was not gonna lie. That was kind of what I thought I was gonna do. But mixing it into potato salad actually sounds like a better idea. Our butter is... Did I just do that? I did. I got out the flour tower, got out the tablespoon scoop, opened the flour tower, didn't scoop it, closed the tower, put it back on the shelf. Anyways, we're making a little quick roux in the back there. No, I like your idea because there's another thing that can get dolloped on top. Which you're gonna go, what? Why? Okay. get our roux ruing. It will rue the day that it something. I don't know, man. How many things are dollopable? Oh my God, you have no idea. You have no idea the things I could dollop if I wanted to. Peach jelly, vegan pesto. Ooh. Don Chilio. How about that one? Let's see, peaches. Salted lemon. Pork floss. Crispy garlic. Sour cream. Tiny salted shrimps. Cranberry. Tomato syrup. Sriracha. You want some sriracha? We could dollop some sriracha. Plum jam, homemade plum jam. Crispy chili oil. Ooh, this stuff. Don't even know what this is anymore. Didn't put a label on it. Hoisin. Another sriracha. Ooh. Spicy bean sauce. A lot of stuff. We got, oop. Well, I hope a brown roux is what I was going for, because that's sure what I delivered. It's fine, I didn't burn the roux, I just made a brown roux, not a blonde roux, because I was distracted by my own nonsense. But again, it's fine. That's fine. A brown roux imparts additional brown. Now our thing will taste slightly more of brown. That'll help the soup part thicken as we finish it off as well. A blonde roux would thicken more, but a brown roux will give us more flavor. So it should be fine. Should be fine. Should be fine. A little distracted, but it's fine. Lemon pasta with roasted artichokes was very good. Well, good. I'm glad. Dollopable. You want a dollop. You want a dollop. What else we got? Horseradish, chimichurri, miso, another different kind of tiny salted shrimps. What's the green one? Candied citron? Yes. Candied citron. Chipotle's in adobo sauce. I have a lot of ingredients. I have too many ingredients. This is why it takes me so long to come up with what I'm gonna do. I should take a list of every ingredient that I have in the house, feed it into a chat bot, and ask the chat bot what it would make out of that stuff, and watch it melt down. Impossible. Beep boop. You know, the sounds the chatbots make. They go beep boop. The mysterious mason jar. I'm pretty sure, now I didn't label it so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure what is in the mysterious mason jar of mystery is birria liquid from when I made a birria at some point and then jarred it. Let's let that keep bubbling away over there. We're going to slide back over here. I really like the idea of krauting the thing. Rice with the curry. No, our starch component is this. The potatoes. Much like when I did the pizza, and my starch component was pizza crust naan, I decided I wanted my starch here to be one that was theme appropriate, and a potato salad, especially since I made the main thing quite savory, a vinegared potato salad that I'm now adding a little bit of kraut to, seemed like just the thing, giving us our bulk starch and also our acid component to balance out our rich, meaty main. Where's my jar of cat sick? I do have a bad habit of sometimes jarring leftovers, putting them in there, absolutely forgetting what they are, pushing the jar around for a while, and then being like, I wonder what this is, opening it up and it's gone off. Usually quite dramatically with one of those big blooms on top, and then I just dump the whole thing. So, I have a bad habit of saving stuff. No, Ryuya, I'm not doing that because I want the side-by-side plating thing. Otherwise, potatoes in curry is a thing. Masaman curry, yes, that's a potatoes mixed into a curry is a pretty common thing. In fact, Japanese curries usually have potatoes in the curry, and then also are served with rice. You know what? The most recent thing I've got that I could dollop is I made a batch of zaluk, which does not go with these flavors at all, but darn, it isn't tasty with potato or corn chips. I was using it like a dip. I've seen several jars of unfed sourdough starter that you haven't fed in years. It's probably dead. It's probably deceased. It's probably no longer among the living. Let's taste that stuff again. I need a new spoon because that one is covered in horseradish. So if I taste it, it's going to taste like horseradish. But we're going to give it a taste and also test our broth for consistency. Our broth is still quite thin. Oh, it's got like a... It's got like a really interesting... It's way pepperier now with the addition of the pepper and the mustard and the horseradish. If I was making it into a soup, I would add some vinegar to that to balance it out. But since I don't want that, it's just really... It's really rich. It's really savory rich. Whew. You keep telling yourself that. You hold out hope. I would like the stuff over here to thicken up a little bit more. It's better. It's definitely better than it was, but it was... Oh, I used the... Oh well, I'll just switch them up. I would like it to thicken up a little bit more if I could. But I don't really want to cook it a ton from this stage because our ingredients will continue breaking down. So we might force it with some cornstarch. or potato starch. I think we're going to force it. We're going to use potato starch because then it's got potatoes in it. Ooh. I definitely got some pepper on my finger because then I touched my nose. This recipe, I could redo this one and get you a refined, like, followable version. But yeah, the starting point of this recipe was just like, I've got a bunch of random nonsense leftovers. I wouldn't recommend someone make this specific thing from scratch, because the purpose of this is I've got a bunch of random nonsense. I had half of a sweet potato and some bratwursts from someone else's barbecue. Like, so some cold bratwurst from someone else's barbecue. So yeah, I could go back. I could go back, reverse engineer this into a real recipe if I really wanted to. If it's super, super tasty when I'm done, maybe I will, but... Okay, potato starch water. Boop, it's in. Oh, it's already noticeably thicker. I can wipe through and see the bottom for more than a split second. So that's probably just exactly what I needed, was just a good dollop of a starch. Or twice as much roux as I made over there. That also probably would have worked. So a double on the roux would have done it. But yeah, that's probably the target thickness. Let's test it with our spoon. Sticks to the back of our spoon, okay, not the best, but... It does not have Indian spices. It has Indian spice techniques, but we used caraway and horseradish, and I suppose I did throw in fennel and coriander. But fennel's not... It's real tasty. It's got that... I like it. I like it. It would take some effort to reverse engineer, not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be able to just bang this one out real quick. But that thickened it up just about where I want it to be, so I think I'm gonna serve it. Well, a curry is a stew. It's just that this one is very brown. Curries tend to be more colorful on account of the spices that are used in them. And fair enough, I clickbaited a little bit in the title by calling it a curry. You know. Put one table, yes. One lone turmeric would put it to rest. We're gonna fish those bay leaves out now, because ew, we don't want fish in here. Heat off, bring it over yonder. Oop, and we're actually starting to stick at the bottom, so... Oh, and my fridge has started to buzz again. Let's see if this even, like, registers as a thing. It, it's, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know if it quite. I don't know if it quite comes across in the looking. And now for my secret final ingredient. Shredded Swiss cheese. That's your cue. That's the thing. Bonito flake. I don't have bonito flake. I have a furikake with bonito in it. Again, the premise today was take your European flavors and present them in the style of a curry. And I think the line of cheese might be a little bit fuzzy, but it helps differentiate what's on either side of it, and it is melting a little bit too. I'm not putting bonito on it. That sounds like a hard clash. That sounds like a hard clash to me. And that's it. That's the thing. It's essentially what I pictured at the beginning. I think if I had cut my potatoes a little bit smaller, I could have gotten more of a half and half look. I think they ended up being quite chunky. Ta-da! It's a thing. It's a thing. Let's go take a picture of it. Let's go in here and take a picture. And then we'll come back over to where you guys are and we'll take a big old bite. Come on. Okay. I think if I call this a curry, no one's going to understand what I mean. Where should we start? Ideally, a little bit of everything. So, some bratwurst and carrot, and some sweet potato, and some regular potato with the cheese. Okay. All right. Okay, hold on. What happened? Either my brain broke or that didn't taste like anything at all. What happened? The mind reels for sure. No, the stuff over here definitely tastes like something. Try it. I can try this again. All right. Vinegary, savory, cheesy. That bite was completely different. Like, that bite was completely different. What is happening? I don't know what I've done. It's not bad. In fact, I would say it's quite tasty. The potato salad side by itself, vinegary, herby, starchy. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. It's not real strong, but it has like a good vinegary sharpness to it. The other side, I even just tasted the broth straight afterwards to see if I had done something since I last tasted it. No, it's deeply spiced with those they're not like warming spices. They're all kind of like nasal spices, but not sort of like hot. But you know, caraway, fennel, coriander. Those are all kind of heavily fragranced spices. Though it's deeply savory and it's got a lot of that sort of high nasally spice to it. The bratwurst pieces 100% taste like bratwurst. When I combine it together, they kind of, it's not like they even fight with each other. They kind of like both give up. The first bite, or either that or my brain short circuited and I couldn't make sense of what it was eating. I think my brain short circuited the first time because this one also tasted like something, and again, different. That bite had a big piece of cabbage in it, and the cabbage has become remarkably sweet in the long simmering. So that bite tasted like still quite vinegary because again I'm following the middle line. So still quite vinegary from the vinegar side, but with a lot of like distinct sweet cabbage flavor on the other side. Dang, this is a roller coaster. Wow. So, Saizen. Oh, hold on. Oh my God, I sneezed. Okay, I'm back. Saizen, flavor negation. There is a thing, a culinary principle, where if you keep throwing spices into something, they don't negate, but your mouth has a limit of how much flavor it is capable of registering. You max out its sensory ability. And if you've added a whole bunch of competing spices, they all get brought down a notch because they're fighting for limited receptor space. Whew. Speaking of nasal stuff, it's not like it's spicy, but it's definitely making my nose think it's spicy. Wow, this is a roller coaster. I like it. It would be a hard sell for most people, I think, because I couldn't tell you really very accurately what you're getting into. That's the thing. It happens in. It doesn't work with salt. It doesn't work with like menthol, or it only works with the like flavor compounds, not the other things that your tongue can pick up on, like hot pepper and all that sort of stuff. Those can just keep getting ramped up to oblivion. But the actual like taste receptors, they're trying to. All the different flavors are attaching to the same taste receptors, so they are competing. I don't know what's making my nose go. It doesn't have like a strong nasal spice to it. It's not like I ate a bunch of wasabi and it's making my nose go crazy. But it's clearly reacting something. Maybe it's just the horseradish that's in there. Whew. But yeah, it's a thing that comes. It's a thing I learned. I learned from the Anime Food Wars during the curry tournament arc. That show is crazy. During the curry tournament arc, where it was, you can't just keep adding spices to your curry because then they'll bring it down. You got to take a spice out because then the remaining ones wake up. And then specifically, it was instead of cooking your spices in stock, cook them in water, because then the flavor of the stock isn't competing with the flavor of the spices, and you get a blast of smoke, And then one of the people eats it and goes, and their clothes fly off. That was a weird show. That was a weird anime. My nose is running, which is weird because it's not spicy. My mouth is not reacting with hot to this at all. But my nose is. Wow. Anyways, that's some nonsense right there. I hope I described it. It's not that every bite is nonsense. It's that every bite is different, and it's making my brain go weird because it's not what I'm expecting. I think if you made this part, the curry, just as a stew, and served that with the potato salad as a side dish, people would be very happy with it. It is a rich pork and sausage flavored stew with a lot of sweet vegetables in it. So it's rich and savory, and it has a good shot of sweetness, and then it has a lot of this sort of overtures of spice going through it. And then the potato salad is an excellent counterpoint. It's starchy, it's sour, it's heavily herbed as opposed to heavily spiced. They actually go really well together. I don't know if they go really well together literally mixed like I'm having them. I think that's the problem, is that these two things are very good next to each other, but not inside of each other. And that's what I'm struggling with. And also making my nose go crazy, weirdly. Anyways, we should probably wrap it up because I'm just rambling. I'm still really jazzed up today. I don't know why I've got so much energy today of all days. Oh, which is good. I could channel that energy into cleaning up this mess. Oh. And also, I gotta shut down so I can go blow my nose because this is getting annoying. Whew. Let's pop my face up here. Any questions about the nonsense today? Any questions? I never asked for questions at the end, but today of all days would be the day for questions. Let's see. Who is on? JT's on. Chefry is on. Chef. They were here earlier. We're gonna go say hi. We're gonna do the thing. Mashing X to doubt. With the Malort. Let's go get the Malort. No, I'm not gonna get the Malort. Nothing goes with Malort. We are gonna go see Room and Board, who was here earlier in the chat as chef de cuisine. We can tell them all about the absolute madness that happened on this plate. It was madness. Malort, God had no hand in the creation of Malort. Don't blame him for that. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here through this madness. This is actually quite delicious. It's just very confusing. Thanks for sticking with me. Sorry about last week. I needed a day off, and it was my only chance, so I just did nothing that day. I just sat and vegetated. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for the subs right at the beginning. I've got my thing covered up, but if I remember, it was Flemish and someone else. Hold on, I can find out. Review. It was Review right at the start. So thanks for those resubs. I don't have a sign off. Goodbye. Goodbye.